Don't put your dreams to bed. You've done that enough. Now it's time to stir them up. This is your friend and host, Kirsty Fleur, with the Visionary Woman podcast, and I love resourcing the visionary woman, the creative, the artist, the business owner, the risk taker. And on this show, we will talk about what it means to get out of your own way and take your dreams to the next level. Join the conversation. Hi, I'm your host, Kirsty Fleur, and thank you for joining us today on the Visionary Woman podcast. Today, we are going to be recapping the last 12 episodes on the Visionary Woman podcast. I hope you've been listening in. And so today, joining me on the show, I have Eunice Johnson Strickland. Eunice is a dedicated professional with a rich and diverse background. She's served proudly in the military for 25 years. She's been able to hone her expertise in finance, human resources, logistics, and she demonstrates exceptional leadership and organizational skills. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry from Grambling State University, a testament to her commitment to education and intellectual growth. Additionally, Eunice earned an MBA from University of Phoenix, further solidifying her expertise in business and management. During her military career, she was a chemist, and now excels as a trusted realtor, captivating public speaker, compassionate life coach, and dedicated mentor. With a passion for guiding individuals toward their fullest potential, she brings a unique blend of wisdom and insight into every interaction. Eunice's diverse experiences have shaped her into a dynamic speaker, drawing from her military career and discipline, her nurturing spirit to inspire others. She's also a loving mother of 3 children, and she understands the importance of balance and brings a unique perspective to her motivational task. As the youngest of 5 siblings, she values the importance of family bonds. So beyond her professional endeavors, she finds solace in the joy of gardening and using the earth as her canvas for creativity. She's equally adept in the kitchen and creating delectable dishes that reflect her love for culinary arts. But above all, she cherishes spending precious moments with her kids, creating lasting memories that will be cherished for a lifetime. So her story is one that you're going to hear in a minute, of resilience and determination and the ability to encourage and empower individuals in their own journey. So Eunice is a good friend of mine. Thank you for joining the show with us today. Eunice, what's up?
Who is that woman you introduced? I want to meet her. Oh my God.
I know, right? I know. Every time, you hear your own bio, you're like, is that me?
She's amazing.
She's amazing. Yes, yes. So we are super grateful to have you on the show and encouraging our audience, our listeners, these visionary women. So on the past 12 episodes, we've talked about a number of things. We've talked about embracing creativity, overcoming adversity, forging sustainable life and business partnerships. We've even had an IP lawyer come on and talk to us about her journey and how she created an ecosystem or group of women that helps with all the wholeness and wellness things that she's a part of. She found that was a huge part of wellness also. So women are finding ways to tackle the roadblocks to pursue their dreams and passions. And so that's what we like to talk about here, how we can get beyond that, how we can stay on our visionary journey. Because if you're a visionary woman, you know that a lot of times you can get in your own way. So we're going to discuss how to cultivate a place called home despite some of those roadblocks and setbacks. But first, Eunice, we want to hear, even though we heard this amazing bio, we want to hear about you and what you have going on now and all the fun things.
Wow. So first of all, primarily first is always family first. So right now, I am just doing real estate and all the things family. And so the thing that I love about cultivating and helping families get their homes is because I just believe that that's the origin. Like, if you have the perfect home to cultivate the life that you've dreamed of, then it can help you navigate to other endeavors because buying a house is huge. So I have all the things with 3 kids. I have somebody who is in soccer. I have somebody who is practicing for a talent show and doing voice lessons. And I have somebody who is in a musical. So every night there after school, it's like, do you have your snack? Did you get your extra lunch? I'm cooking dinner in between. So in this season of my life, it is catering to every age group that's living in this house, which are my tiny humans, and cultivating and nurturing relationships and helping and encouraging people to ultimately reach their goal, which is one of the biggest purchases they'll ever make, is their home.
Wow, I absolutely love that. One of the things that I can actually give like credit to Eunice is the fact that this is the truth. Like she really does spend this time cultivating her family, pouring into her kids, pouring into like what is right in front of her. And that is something that I have really been, like, of course, as my family is growing, I have a new baby now. So I've thought about a lot. How do I cultivate home? How do I stay focused on what is right in front of me? My feet right in front of me. What does that look like? And why do we have such a hard time, in this generation of doing that? Because especially you got to think about it, we're visionary women. So what are we? We're thinking far into the future of like, okay,
Mhm.
this is what I see myself as, so we're constantly pivoting, we're constantly evolving and changing. And it is so easy if you don't have like that place of security, like, we're calling it a home,
Mhm.
a physical home, or just like your place where you're grounded at, you can just kind of be all over the place. And I love that
You
you
can
said
definitely, I'm
yeah,
sorry, go ahead. You
no, I
can, you,
love that you said you see that in the home process, the home buying process, with people like being able to give them that space where they can have an experience as a family.
yeah. And also, like, I had to learn, and I continuously have to be intentional to give myself grace and to be okay when everything's not perfect. I went in the beginning, my concept of motherhood was the food has to be piping hot. They have to have all the colors of the rainbow. They have to have three sides, got to have some type of bread, a grain, did they have milk, calcium, all of the things. The house has to
Yeah.
be perfect. And I was making everybody miserable because I had a concept versus understanding and being okay with what works for us right now. Because I think what I was confusing was um, seasons. I was confusing my seasons. There was a season where I had everything together and the house was okay. But now this is not a museum. This is home. This is love. So I need to be okay with how is life functioning for me now. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I have toys everywhere. I have weapons of mass destruction everywhere. I have Nerf guns because I have a son and I'm understanding all of things son. I have a daughter that's artistic, so she loves to paint. She likes fashion, so I'm probably gonna have 10 outfits on the floor, and she wears uniforms every day. So why are you going through different types of uniform? It's either khaki or blue. Come on, let's
Right.
make a
Right.
decision. And then you have somebody else that's very, very calculated. And you know what? Kids just want to eat. They want to hug. They want to feel loved. They want to feel seen.
That's right.
Just, like they want to, what is, what is valuable um, in this season. And not only that, my personal mantra that I live by is be the mom that my children will remember. So will they remember
Wow.
me yelling all the time? Will they remember me snatching them up, not allowing them to make a mistake? Because I wanted to present my life and my children and all of their school projects perfect, not allow them to make any mistakes, take over things, try to present it. But that was actually crippling them and really making them codependent versus
Mm,
independent. And so all the things in this season of my life, and seasons can be 5 years, a season can be 3 years, a season can be 10 years. But in that season, when you're there, just be there and be present,
yeah.
and your kids will teach you, and they will teach you what's important. They will keep you fun. They will keep you flexible and keep you moving forward and keep you young too. Just
Yeah.
like joy. And
Yeah.
also too, what I learned as a visionary woman is I needed to take time and find a source. Because if you don't have a source or a grounding place, then you will be all over the place, and it
Yeah.
will be uncalculated. So what that
Yeah.
looked like for me is, okay, well, I have 6 clients under contract. I have buyers getting approved. I have homes coming on the market getting listed. When do I have time to have a vision? When do I have time to be still and be quiet? Well, at that time, I began to backwards plan. And what I mean by backwards plan is if I wake up at 5:50 to get the kids up for 6 o'clock every morning, then at that point, if 5:50 is the time for me to start moving around to get the kids up, I need to be up at 5:30. I need to be up at 5:20 to have that
Right.
alone time to sit still, to look at my calendars, whatever I'm doing to ground myself, whatever I'm doing to journal, to meditate, and how is today supposed to go for me? And we have a master calendar. If it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist.
Listen, if it's not on the calendar in my life, it's absolutely not happening.
Hmm.
Like, oh, we were supposed to do this today. It's not on the calendar. It's not happening. It's got to
Hmm.
be on the calendar. I love that you keep using the word grounded. I woke up a couple of nights ago and I wrote in my notes, grounded. And then I automatically start thinking about back when I was like in college and I worked at American Airlines. And I was like, why would they ground flights? Like, why do we do that? Like, why did planes come in, and why they have to be grounded? And I'm like, the plane had to be grounded from its journey because it was had maintenance issues, technical problem, or it needed to have something like recharge with its battery, all the things, whatever that needs to happen on that tarmac out there. And so I was like, okay, if I'm the plane and I feel like in moments I'm being grounded, it's not like a punishment per se, but it
Hmm.
is an adjustment. It's like I need to come back in, be recentered and grounded so that I can have a safe journey and a safe flight. And so you keep using that word grounded, like it hit me the other day, and I was like, that's a thing. Like we need that as women. We have all those things you just mentioned. I got food here, I got this one, gotta go to this practice, we got this, we got all these things or whatever. You have to have that grounding, that place, that even if it's not a place, even if it's like, this mantra, this mindset that you have that you come back to every day, like you like, I gotta get up, I have to meditate, you gotta pray, whatever, your flow, your thing, your practice is. I gotta do this because it grounds my day. My thing is walking. Like when I get up in the morning, I just have a lot of energy. So when I get up in the morning, I gotta walk.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just walk and I look up and I'm like, oh, I walked for 3 miles. I'm not doing it on purpose, guys. I'm not that fit. I do it because I'm doing it because it is the way that I keep my mind grounded and centered. Like it's a place where I can think. The baby is in her stroller, she's asleep or looking at trees, and I'm getting to be there in that moment. So in that moment, I'm like, okay, I see the leaves, I see the trees here, and then I think, oh wow, I've always been in a hurry. Like this. So then
Mhm.
now thoughts, now I've made space. And so now real thoughts, real
Mhm.
introspection starts happening. I'm like, okay, why have I always been in a hurry? Because am I always trying to escape something? So you have these moments where, okay, if I don't ground myself, then I don't get this self-awareness so that I can work on these.
Yeah,
And I
because
love that.
and I love being grounded and centering myself and living by what my truth is, and also too setting boundaries.
Whew.
I I remember I was singing on the worship team at church, volunteering in the women's ministry at church, still had 3 kids. I was nursing baby brother. I was doing real estate, and my mom was progressing in her Parkinson's disease. So I was
Okay.
doing all of the things, and at that time I was still in the military. This was just really like maybe 3 years ago. Still in the military, and I began to feel overwhelmed because what I realize is being a person who gets things done, people will call on you because they know that you will show up.
Hmm.
But there had to be a time, once again, I'll say season, that I had to begin to detach myself because I was being pulled and not grounding myself, but being all things to all people, showing up for everybody and not myself.
Yeah.
So what I was being shown in my personal life as I spent time with God was that you're doing too much. I didn't say that you needed to pause forever, but you need to pause for right now because
Yeah.
I need you to come back to a center and I need to refocus you for a season. Because it's really about a world perspective here. You're thinking about, oh my gosh, I have my pride set in. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be on the stage. I'm not going to be singing. I'm not going to be helping people. I love women. I love
Yeah.
singing. I love doing
Ego
all
does
of it.
that. Ego is like,
Yeah. Mhm.
what? I
What they gonna
need.
say? I'm not gonna be there. What they gonna say? But
Right.
the Holy Spirit was showing me that you are so concerned about taking a 5-year break when I have 30 years of prosperity and other good things that I need to reposition you for.
Right.
Especially it can be very hard when you do a lot of things well.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a hard place to be because you wonder, am I doing the correct thing in this season? And the thing that I'm good at, am I being purposeful in this season right now with the particular gift or talent that I have? Because if you use the right talent or gift in the wrong season, you will not prosper.
That's true. That's true. All of it is so crazy. It's all about alignment. And then that
Mm-hmm.
that brings us right back to that piece of like self-awareness, that groundedness. Like if you don't
Mm-hmm.
know those, see, if you just keep going and you just keep building and you're just in this rat race of, okay, this is just what we do, this is just how we do it, this is just how all the things work, and you don't take that moment to ground and center yourself, you might look up and be like, wait a minute, oh, this was I'm in a season that is up. This is
Yeah.
completely like we're now I'm supposed to be transitioning into something else. And yeah, there's the pieces of it where it's like, okay, what are the practical components? Like business is business and there are practical things, fiscal things that need to happen. But
Mhm.
also as visionaries of companies, you still have to be the person that's centered to the mission, the vision, and where you're
Right.
going. And it's so important, for us as women, we have to make that time to pull all the things back in and say, okay, is this still going in the right direction? Because you might pause and look up and be like, what the heck am I doing? What am I doing? What have I been doing for the past year here? Let me restructure, let me recenter and get
Mhm.
back on target.
One thing that I had to learn was to be okay with teaching people how to treat me.
That's good.
And I say that because when I first got into real estate, I would tell people I'm new to real estate. I'm not new to business. I'm just new to real estate. And so I would answer the phone, shush my kids, walk away, answer my phone after hours. I had no boundaries. And so now I have learned that I'm not all things to all people. Guess what? Nobody's awake at 7 o'clock at night that I can do anything for you in regard to certain areas of real estate. So all of that, we can move all of that to 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. We can,
That's
you know,
right. That's
you
right.
know, um, and
Work is
also
gonna be there.
work is always
It's
going to
not
be
going
there.
anywhere.
And also too, people just want to be reassured that they are heard and they want you to follow through. That's that's
Right.
that's all. And what I say too is even on my voicemail is God family real estate. I mean,
Hmm.
I love all of those things. However, if you call me and it's dinner time, you're gonna get what you get and you don't throw a fit. You're gonna hear these pots moving around because it's time to feed my family. And
Yeah,
if we would all be honest with ourselves, we are more alike than we are not.
that's right. Hmm.
We all want to be successful. We all want to raise children that are an asset to society, and we want to be the best representatives of a human being as we can, the best representative of a good
Right.
person as we can. And we don't have to apologize for what that looks like for us in this season. You don't have to
I love
apologize.
that. I love that. all of that is you have clear boundaries. Like, you
Mhm,
have to, I find, of course we're women here and we're talking about this, but I find that men don't tend to struggle with the no of their boundaries as much as we do as women, because we're like, oh yeah, we could do a little bit more, or
mhm,
okay, yeah, the neighbor, brought this over and did this, so let me make sure that I
mhm.
can't do, I can't return that favor right now. I can't do that. I have to do this, And we can just be so like we gotta, we're just on that rat race on that wheel. So we have to constantly remind ourselves, like you're talking about, like we keep talking about, one of my things in boundaries is like turn my phone off. So sometimes, I have a friend or a family member that's like, I messaged you at what time, whatever time in the morning. Did you get my message about this? And I'm like, oh no, I was asleep.
Right.
you know,
Sleep is
Especially
the
now. I mean, I have a newborn. Most definitely,
Mhm.
I didn't get your message. So
Right.
either the phone is off or it's always on silent. You like, what do you say? You message me sometimes and you're like, your phone is on do not just it stays on do not disturb mode. I don't want to hear the notifications. I don't need all that.
Mhm.
And so for me, it's been keeping work at work. I'm like, okay, these are my hours that I work. I'm at work. My people know this is the day that I don't work. When I'm at home at this time, they're like, they may still be sending things in our we use Monday as a project management software. They may still be sending things in there. It's 9 o'clock. I'm here with the baby, rocking the baby or doing bedtime stuff or whatever we're doing
Mhm.
at home. I'm likely not going to respond to the next day. Unless it is like super urgent, the building's going to burn down, which I doubt, and it never is.
Mhm.
You're going to get a response the next day. And then, so home is at home. So when I'm at home, I want to be I want to be in it. I want to be deep in what is happening at home. So if we're cooking, we're cooking. If we're watching movies together, if we're going for a family walk, I want to be completely inside of that moment with my people. Because, like you said, what mom are they going to remember? Who are they going
Mhm.
to remember? Is my son and my daughter going to be like, mom was always working? Every time we saw her, she's up at 2 o'clock, she's up at midnight, she's always working, she was always frustrated. One of the things Knox used to say is, whenever you wear these glasses, you seem angry. He said that because when I was in school, I was in grad school at Wheaton, and I used to always wear these glasses. And
Mhm.
so he would see whenever I put my glasses on and I'm doing my work at night, he's like, "You seem really frustrated when you put the glasses on." So he's like, "Glasses and you, I'm not talking to you when you got the glasses on."
I
My
like to
kids are so
communicate.
smart like that.
And see, here's two things about when you're a business owner. Communication is key. I teach my children boundaries as well. And I'm open to letting them know when I have a bad day, when I'm sad, when I lost a deal, when a deal didn't go through. I even cry in front of my children because one thing is, I had to break something generationally. And before my mom passed away, we talked about this when I was younger. But she grew up in an era where, she would say, never let them see you sweat.
Hmm.
Like cry later, but this has to get done. Yes,
Right.
they were cruel, they were harsh. Well, I was a very emotional child. So I struggled with never let them see you sweat because I cried all the time. I was very in touch with this doesn't feel
Yeah.
good. I cried and I'm going to cry. So over the years, I developed that hardness. And I am just now embarking on my wonderful second year of therapy, realizing that it is okay to
You gotta
cry.
celebrate that. I don't think enough people celebrate that. I love how you said it like it was a celebration. I'm embarking on this wonderful day. I'm like, we need a celebration for that. What are we talking about?
Yes, yes. So it's like them seeing that your feelings is hurt because I don't need them to know that you only cry as a kid. I need them to know that
Yeah,
adults have bad days. And
yeah.
also, too, when you work for yourself, there's going to be times where I am going to have to work after hours. That's why,
Hmm.
in real estate, you get to make your own hours, but they also understand that there are some times that I am under a timeline and I'm going to need to get some more work done. Got it all day. That's not an issue with them. However, it is up to me as a parent. I feel like it is what I get to do because I'm very intentional about my words. What I get to do is I get to plan and make sure that I have dinners prepared. that I have space for homework time and I have space for pickup time, because when you work for yourself, you it's also whatever vision you have. But I got into real estate to be the mom that my children will remember. I got into real estate to pick up from the school and to do the homework and to be at the field trips. So
Yeah.
I'm
That freedom.
everywhere
Yeah.
with my computer, but
Yeah.
I'm everywhere. I've been on a field trip writing up a contract. I'm
Yeah.
everywhere because it's called get the software. It's called
Yeah.
download the software. It's called make the
Right.
template.
Right.
So there is a preparation when you are embarking and envisioning on a different season. I'm going into a season right now where I've never been before, where I'm going to have one person in soccer while another person is in dance, while another person is about to be in a musical. And when the musical is over, they're going to go into track season. So this is a season for me where every child will be having an event. And I may finally get to that point where I'm only maybe home 2 nights a week because everybody has some place to be. And I am mentally preparing myself for that. I don't know
Yeah.
how that's going to work or how
Because it's
that's
like,
going to
what
happen.
is food gonna look like? How we eating? Because we can't eat out every night. So what is
Can't,
prepping
can't.
meals? All the things. Yeah.
Mhm. So, and
Oh
I
my
am
goodness.
I am all the things YouTube. I am, hey, what can I? This morning, I was looking at a video about making pancake mix in bulk, making cookie dough mix in bulk, making muffin mix in bulk, because you have to think about, like, I love to sit at the table. I love to talk about meals. I love to communicate about their day because I learned how to speak and how to articulate my feelings at the dinner table. How was your day? What's going
That's
on?
good.
How to
Yeah.
how are you feeling about life? What was the conversation on the school bus? And then, you know what I do in return? This is what I had going on in real estate today. I had a closing. I'm waiting on an appraisal. Well, what is an appraisal? Well, what does that mean? I
That's good.
actually
Yeah.
incorporate my children in my business because I need them to understand that you can do all things, but also too, just be mindful of not being afraid to try, because
Yeah.
the thing about my family dynamic that my children get to see is my husband is a traditional and I'm non-traditional. My husband has been teaching for over 20 years. He goes to work every day and he comes home and he gets a paycheck every 2 weeks, whether he does something or not. However,
Hmm.
if I don't work, I don't eat. So
Right.
they get to see, if do I want to be a risk taker like mom, or
Right.
do I want to be traditional like dad? And guess what? Either way is okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's crazy. These are the conversations that I have with Chauncey. I'm like, so here's the deal. You go to work. It's 1 + 1 = 2. I
Mhm.
go to work, especially as a creative, it's like over the place. And the way that I have to generate income and a flow and all the things is completely different than the linear way. Where, like I
Mhm.
said, his corporate is 1 + 1 = 2. When you put this
Mhm.
in, you get this out, and there's the check.
Mhm.
Wow.
Right. Right.
So works a little bit different for me. A little
Yeah.
different. It hits different.
Mhm.
Okay.
And the the joy is, like, I also wanted my children to understand my education and my intellect is inherited. My parents, my mother was very educated. My grandmother, my great grandmother, they were just naturally gifted in the all things wisdom and knowledge. So I'm grateful for that. But my children having the courage to try something different, to try something innovative, and the courage to fail and to try again or
Oh,
to
that.
pivot. So
Hmm.
I need them to understand, like, it is okay to be hardcore for something and say, you know what, I want to change my mind. So my intellect or my education comes actually from a place of trauma, honestly.
Yeah.
So what happened was my dad died when I was 15, and so he suffered 4 years with cancer. And so we went from living this upper middle class life to my mom and I was just on the struggle bus. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was bad. You know, like you got that one can in the pantry, nobody want to eat it. But if it stays there, that means that we have some food in the house.
Right.
We don't totally have any food. So I
Mm.
conjured up in my mind that I'm going to get associates, a certification, a bachelor's, a master's, because what I'm not going to ever do is not be able to make a dollar. I don't
Yeah.
ever want to be in a position where something happens to my husband and I have to start my life over and I have nothing planned. I don't have a backup plan.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, I got an associate's in science. I have a phlebotomy certification. I got the bachelor's in chemistry. I got the MBA. I got the certification, the to do real estate. But
You like, I
all
can
of
take your blood and sell you a house. Which one? Which one are you needing today?
which one do you need? But you know, all of that is okay because I had to learn that if I would go back and look at myself 10, 20 years ago, I would tell myself to have several seats and to calm down, that it's going to be okay.
Right. It's gonna be all right. Yeah.
And I had to learn the power of a team. I had to learn
There we go.
to have an ecosystem and to
Mm-hmm.
depend on people. Because what I did was trauma wanted me to encapsulate myself and make myself feel like I'm going to be the provider for all things. Eunice is never going to be hungry again. Eunice is not going to,
Oh yeah,
um,
that's that
I,
trauma talking. Yep.
yeah, not going to be successful. You can miss me with that. Like, I'm going
Yeah.
to be able to make my own way. And so, what I had to realize why I celebrate therapy so much is that um, everybody is not for evil. You know, you do have a system of people, if you allow your heart to be open, to help you. But
Mm-hmm.
also, what happens, life comes along, and when you feel like you are um, on this great path, and you starting to tell everybody what's happening, all of the nights that you've studied for, which they have no idea, then you realize that they are not for you. And so, once again, I said, I tried to have an ecosystem, I tried to have a team, I tried to share, and then it's like,
Makes
boom,
you put
bring it.
that wall up.
Yeah,
Yep.
it makes you put that wall up. And so, what I have learned, once again, with my source is God. I believe in Jesus, the Holy Spirit, all of the things. I believe in try the spirit by the spirit. So if we line up, we're good to go. But if I get that feeling that I'm accustomed to and I know things are not right, I'm moving on, and I'm moving on unapologetically.
Yeah.
Because you have to learn how to have the hard conversations.
Yeah.
A lot of
And
times,
you gotta be willing to build the right ecosystem too. If it's, and even like in a spiritual sense, but even in just like a practical sense, if this
right,
doesn't work, if 1 + 1 is not 2 in this, if it's not working out, it's just not working out. And that
keep
is okay.
trying.
And let's blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
amicably, let's
that
part
word.
ways. Let's move
Yeah.
on, you know,
Hmm.
and let's build I just was just saying the other day, we don't match energy. I'm not into energy matching. Let me
Hmm.
match this person's energy. No, this is the energy that I'm coming into the room with. This is the culture that we have here. This is what we're doing. It's
Hmm.
either you can get with that or you can't, and
Hmm.
if you can't, then don't have yourself misaligned with what we're doing here. You need to go do what you can do. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And it's
In all the
okay.
way. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's okay. It's the same way in friendships, it's in marriage, it's in family, it's in everything that you
And it's
do,
in, right. And what they reminded me was of a life lesson that I'm teaching my 11-year-old right now. I specifically said, we're going to buy this pumpkin. The directions say, in order to decorate a good pumpkin, you have to use acrylic paint. My wonderful 11-year-old says, why?
Of course.
Because in order to get it to look right. But she goes in and she gets the watercolors, she gets the fabric paints, she gets glue, And that pumpkin looked like uh it just is poor pumpkin. So I let her, I spent $5 and she learned a hard lesson. But you know what I'm gonna do? When she comes home today, she'll have a fresh pumpkin and she'll have acrylic paint. And we are not going to enter your pumpkin into the contest because it looks deathly. It looks really, really bad. However, what you will do is you will know that I'm not going to give up and that I tried it my way, because
Yeah.
that's a lesson, right? It's
Yeah.
like I want to try things my way, even though I'm given the right way, so that I won't waste time, waste energy. Let me show you what I use. Just do this and you'll be fine. But she's going to learn that lesson today. And guess what? We're not going to turn it in, but you're going to do that pumpkin and you're going to do it again right. And
Right.
you're going to be okay with saying, you know what? I failed. I messed up. I didn't listen, but let me pivot, lift my head up. Everything's going to be okay, but I'm going to have to do this again.
Yeah.
With
I
the
mean, that's
pride.
teaching her at an early age how to overcome setbacks,
Mhm.
how to
Because
pivot,
sometimes
how to
we're
get
our
back up, how
own
to keep going.
setback.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're our own setback.
Yep. I love that. So I don't know if you'll know the answer to this question or not, Eunice. You should. It should just pop right up when I say this. But what do you think is what's the word that you hear most often? It's one word that you hear most often that people say when they reference you. You are so
Unique.
is she gonna get this? Okay.
Unique.
Okay, yeah,
I'm
that one.
I'm definitely peculiar.
But
What?
the word I was looking for is real because that is
Oh yeah.
literally I was like, she may or may not get this one, but I gotta ask because everybody says it. Everybody, if they know Eunice, if you've been around her, everybody's like, she's just so real. She's just, as real as it comes. But a lot of women have this struggle with their internal voice, and they don't know what their voice is. They don't know really who they are on their journey. So like, what has it been like? So for you, you're talking, we're having this conversation right now, and you say unsure of yourself in a lot of ways. It's like, okay, this is where I am. These are my boundaries. This is this. And
Mhm.
so what people on the outside, when they look at me and people like me and you, they think, oh, this is just your DNA. You just woke up one day and this is just this is just, you figured it out. This is what you do.
Mhm.
But what's been your journey, briefly your journey about how you've become the truest version of yourself and found your voice? How have you been able to do that?
That is a great question. One thing the first word that came to my mind is evolving. Like it
The
is
ing that
ever evolving, ever changing, ever that didn't work. Let me try something else. Um, Forgiving myself, asking the hard questions, making sure that today, new mercies, forgetting about yesterday. Man, the biggest thing that has helped me was getting my emotions under control.
mm,
I had to learn that I really didn't want to be I am woman, hear me roar. I
yeah.
I I really didn't want to be that.
Hmm.
I had to learn, like, I want to be independent and do and stay in my lane and be my own trailblazer. However, I still want to come home and not take the trash out. I still want to be feminine. I still want to lay in my husband's um,
Yeah,
arm and be taken care of. So I honestly
it's huge.
really have to. I do a lot of self reflection, and I live by list. I make lists and calendars, and I feel like I'm rambling, but evolving and trying something new and sticking to what works is what you need to be comfortable with. If you
Yeah.
are a Uber Eats mom, if you are a teen Uber mom where you got Uber taking your child everywhere and all of the things, then you need to do that. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone
Yeah.
because life is a vapor.
Yeah.
And this little social media, these blue squares, will make you feel like you need to be a Clydesdale and you really
Yeah.
should be a lamb. You really should be
Mm-hmm.
a lamb. I have learned to, wow, this is a good one. I had to learn the difference between my friends, acquaintances, comrades, constituents, associates, employees.
All the things. Yeah. We had an episode talking just about that, like knowing the difference, because it, for your mental health, for your business, for all of it, it is, you have to know. You have to
You
know what category, where people, what door they enter through
mhm.
and what place they belong in.
And being okay, even if you have one person. My mom would tell me often that you're a leader, get used to being alone. If you have one friend, you'll be lucky. If you have one friend. And I think that we as women, or I can say for myself, I used to try to find validation in um every huge venture that I had. And I was such a people pleaser in a season of my life that I felt like I had to bring people along with me, to say that, hey, we did this together and we got this together. And I had to learn that it is okay to walk your own path. It
Yeah.
is okay to even change your mind. It is
Mm-hmm.
okay to lay down and not be okay today. Those are, I would say, going back to the basics. Like I said, it was very hard for me to cry. It was very hard for me to be sad, be happy, be um, just all of the emotions, unsure, shocked, because sometimes the world can be so heavy and we're so in a space to try to prove the world wrong. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Like the world is not in my house, the world not paying my bills.
Please pay a bill.
The world ain't doing nothing
Which one
for
would you
me.
like? The mortgage is a good one.
That part. And so I had to learn to shut my ears and to hear, then hear, and to
Mm-hmm.
see, then see. And when I began to get my joy back, life began to be a little bit easier for me.
Yeah.
A little
That's
bit
so
easier.
good. That's so good. Like what you're saying right now. I mean, I'm hearing several things, but one of the things is, um, based on your upbringing, because that is a part of us, period. No matter what we do, like our upbringing informs some things about us. So your upbringing with your mom letting you know, like, hey, leadership is like this, so
Mhm.
she's like weaving into you at a young age, which you're doing with your kids right now, like, hey, this is how this is how this is going to go, you're going to do it. So you're teaching them leadership. So at a young age you're being taught, boom, this is how leadership looks. Sometimes it's lonely. Here is this. Stand up in your own. This is who you are. And so now when people experience you, intuitively and instinctively, what comes out is, man, Eunice is so real. Man, Eunice is so unique. She's so, she may be peculiar, like the other words that you mentioned, but you are yourself and you're not trying to be in anybody else's lane. And even though life is like had all of us or had you in some moments and stuff like that, you go back to that upbringing. You go back to your rootedness, your core, your home, and you're like, okay, this is who I am. And then you recenter yourself. And so that's how, like, I'm listening and I'm like, this is what people see about you, even with all the degrees, all the things, all the stuff. This is what they experience and what they are encountering, and, why they even can feel like, okay, this person is a safe space for me to talk about this. Or this is somebody I want to sell a home for me. Or because she understands this, she understands why or the value of a home, and she's going to work with me, or however that goes. So I
And
think
see,
that's huge, and that's something that our community really needs to understand. Going back and grabbing what things are good, you know.
right. And it's about perspective and what your heart posture is. My heart posture is to work to live, not live to work.
Hello, we say that all the time. My husband, as much as he works and what he does and all that, he's like, I don't. This thing could shut down tomorrow. I'm not tied to it like that. His thing is my
Mm-hmm,
identity is not connected to what I do. I
mm-hmm,
do federal contracting. This is the work that I do. It provides for me to be able to do this for my family. My
mm-hmm,
identity is not woven into that. If it fails tomorrow, who cares? I'll start a new one.
mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm,
for us as women, sometimes we fight with that. Like I love the parts where you talk about I want to be feminine. I want to stand in my femininity. I'm a woman. I don't want to be battling against all the things. This is who I
mm-hmm,
am. There's so much
mm-hmm,
ease and so much more rest when you encounter other women who are like that, as opposed to this clamoring noise that you hear in culture, where some women are just like, feeling like they have to beat the ground to get all the things to make everything happen,
mm-hmm.
for them, like this masculine energy or whatever. We understand the need for both, but in the space and time for it. But you see it and you
Right.
feel it, and you just like, it feels like such a striving. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel centered and grounded. What we keep coming back to, guys, we need that.
Yes. And then also too, don't be so quick to respond.
Hmm.
And don't be so quick to answer people and to give them like, because we live in this world where it is warp speed. I don't need to answer you right now. And I may not answer you in 2 or 3 days. Let me think about what you're asking me to do. Let me think about if that's good for me in this season right now. Let me think
Hmm.
about the energy between us. Can I tolerate you? And you may be totally tolerable, but can I tolerate you and my 3 children and my business at this time? No,
Yep.
I cannot. And
Yeah.
also, too, putting friendships and relationships on hold for a season. Like
Hmm.
you and I might not talk for 2 weeks. And then when we get on the phone, we just pick up where
Yeah.
we left off.
Yeah, because
And there's no
sometimes it is what it is. It's
there.
like you have to go internal and you're building family, home. You
Mhm,
got whatever things you have going on. And we are two people who have families and businesses. We are busy, we have things going on, So when we come back in and we connect, it's like, okay, here we go. This is where we've been. And the love or whatever is still the same.
yeah.
That's different.
And something else that I had to learn too, I had to learn the levels of the people that was in my ecosystem because everybody's not going to
Hmm.
be on your level. You're going to have
Right.
somebody that has a traditional job. You're going to have somebody that has a traditional way of living. That is okay. But
Yeah,
don't overwhelm them. If they only have a gallon size capacity, don't overwhelm them with a barrel size vision.
that's so good.
You just,
That's so
because you,
good. Yeah. Because our lives are like we are more freelance. We work kind of, like I may go in at 9 o'clock, I may go in at 10, I may go in at 6, I may work a Saturday, but then I may not work Monday or
mhm,
Tuesday.
mhm,
Our schedule moves and flows how it needs to flow for the work that it is that we're doing, but we don't work a traditional 9 to 5. So if I call on a friend who's a physician, which several of my friends are physicians, and I'm like, hey, you want to get up for coffee? So like I've been in the office since 7 o'clock this morning and I get off at 8. I'm not going to be able to have coffee with you.
mhm.
I'll see you on Saturday for our walk.
That part,
you
that part, that
know?
part. So I love the diversity that I'm in this season with all of the things because you can learn something from everybody. Like I didn't say that I was a great gardener. I said that I like to garden. Like so, it's
Hmm.
like I'm
The
excited
journey,
because
the process.
it's
I
a
don't have to be
process.
an expert.
No, we ate those 2 cucumbers off of all of those beautiful
Right.
leaves. 2 cucumbers, two.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
I had to learn how to laugh. I had to learn how to like everything just didn't have to be, so rigid. Like
Hmm.
there's a difference between there's a time to handle business. And let me say this also. real estate is a lot of behind the scenes and a lot of paperwork that people don't understand. So there,
Mm-hmm.
me being a revolutionary woman is also knowing that I'm going to time block. I'm going to have dinner with the kids. I'm going to
Yeah.
lay down. I'm going to have our private time. I'm going to lay down. I'm going to have all the conversations. I'm going to cut all the lights out. And then I'm going to go into my office space and cut the light on. Because sometimes to get what you've never got, sometimes you got to do what you ain't never done. You got to be okay with that.
Right. That
So,
is so good. Oh my gosh, that's so good. I love that. All the tips. You already went into what I was going to ask you about, like some tips for visionary women and some encouragement just about how to sort, order things in their life, some things that may be helpful to them. But you've already given a ton of tips. Time blocking, one, making sure that you hone your voice. Who are you? Another thing in all of the talking that we've done, there's not room for people pleasing. You can't hone your voice and find out who you are. You can't change your future and generationally anything for your family or anything else if you don't set some boundaries. Boundaries, ladies, have to set some boundaries. And so Eunice has given us a ton of tools to take away with them. I mean, this is probably our longest episode because this is our final one for the season. So you should be able to take a ton from this and be able to apply it to your life. Eunice, let our audience know how they can get in contact with you, where they can reach you, or what are your social handles?
well, my first of all, it's my name. It's super easy. My Facebook is Eunice Johnson Strickland. And also my Instagram is Church Girl. Church Girl because I was born and raised in church, and that's just who I'll always be. That's CHERCH underscore girl. CHERCH underscore girl. And let me tell you something. I am not posting all day, every day. I'll post what I want when I want.
No, that's real. We just talked about boundaries.
Cause
Look,
cause cause this is real life here. It's real
right.
life. And then let me tell you
It's
other
real.
things, ladies. We are such a beautiful creature. Like, do not compare yourself. Listen, I wash my clothes, I make my own laundry detergent, okay? But listen to me. I also have my other friends who have the dry cleaners come pick up and do their laundry and wash all of their clothes.
That'll be me, folks.
So you cannot
I
compare.
don't have time.
Right. Like, yo, it is okay. And be
Yeah.
unapologetic about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you order Hello Fresh, do Hello Fresh.
Right. Right. Do what you
If
got to
you
do.
eat
Do
out,
what you
if
do.
you eat out at the same set of restaurants because kids eat free under 10, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings at Denny's, whatever. The kids, I'm telling you, my kids do not remember all the rough stuff. They just remember the traditions. They remember the fun. They remember the
Right.
joy. And then
Yeah.
also too, here's another thing. I thought that my children was happy because I was going to Chuck E. Cheese or sending the sitter to Chuck E. Cheese with $100, $200, and my kids were like, "I just want you.
Mm.
You don't have to spend all that money. We don't want
Yeah.
that." So save yourself some money and kind of ask your kids, what do they like in this season? What do you
Yeah.
want mommy to do? What do you see us doing as a family or mommy and daddy? What do you guys want to do for the holidays? Because you could be planning, oh, I'm going to Aspen, or I'm going to Gatlinburg, or I'm going here. And your kids could be saying, can we watch movies?
Yeah. You know what I love? Everything that you're saying is delegating things that, to whatever the things are, however, if you can delegate something, helping you be present in where you are. Because
Mhm,
my season, maybe 5 years ago, what I was doing then was I was cooking every single day. I was waking up super early. Let me try to make a meal before Chauncey gets out the door. Let me make this. Let me prep
mhm.
food before. That was great. I had the time to do that then. I do not have the time to do that now. It's not
Right,
going down. I
right.
might cook something special for us on the weekend, but
Mhm.
and honestly, like right now, we have a chef, so we have somebody that prepares meals for us for the week, and then we take them out, we warm them up, and we have a meal. But what that does for me, delegating that for me, I've been able to be at the dinner table with my family instead of spending
Yeah.
2 hours cooking, and then by the time the
Mhm.
food's on the table, everybody has eaten, and I
Mhm.
am now sweating and my hair is all over my head, and
Mhm.
they're done eating in about 5 minutes, and I've just spent 2 hours. And for me, the experience and being together is more important than me feeling disconnected. I'm like, I don't feel connected. They're sitting watching football, and I'm chopping up and doing all the stuff, and I'm feeling alone standing in here doing all this stuff. I'm like, no,
Right. Mhm.
if I can afford to delegate it, I'm like, I'm going to delegate this task. And maybe it's just for a
Right.
season, maybe it's just for a moment, but for now,
Mhm.
it's working great. Do what
Yes.
you got to do,
Hey,
ladies.
do what you got to do, and you'll be okay.
That's so good. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining the Visionary Woman podcast. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast at. All of the information that you heard today, links will all be in the show notes. And so we will see you next season for the Visionary Woman podcast. Bye. Thanks for listening and joining the conversation today here on the Visionary Woman podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to join our growing community, the FF Social Club, please comment, like, and subscribe so that you can be updated on our upcoming episodes and more happening over at freedomfleur.com. To catch the latest from me and to access amazing resources for visionaries just like yourself, please visit me on the web at www.kirstyfleur.com. Thanks again for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time. Until then, don't forget to be visionary.